blessings, beautiful being. So in this video, I'm gonna show you some of my most recent realizations after taking a lot of ayahuasca, this medicine called hape, and also this medicine called sananga. And all these medicines are things that the Amazonian people, the indigenous people, swear by and use every day. And it's no wonder, because the whole purpose of them is to cure you. And I think there's this misconception about all these medicines. For example, ayahuasca. There's so many misconceptions. Like people think, and people told me, oh, be careful, it's gonna mess up your brain chemistry. And I think so many people think that the purpose of ayahuasca is just to go on a crazy trip. And then when you come back from the trip, it's like, that's it, you don't really get much from it. You just had a spiritual experience. But what I've learned during being here is that this is not the purpose of ayahuasca. The purpose of ayahuasca is to cure you from this illusion and to bring you back home. And I felt very nauseous and very dizzy, and I thought it was my eye. I thought something was wrong with my eye. But then it goes away a little bit when I don't do these medicines, or when I lay down, or whatever, I chill. And I'm realizing that what's happening is I'm just in this very powerful energy, in this very powerful environment, and that's why all these things are coming up. So it's like an Ascension symptom, Things are coming up on the inside, and that's causing all these physical symptoms. And I can share a story. So I still thought that something's wrong with my eye. So I went and bought this salt solution to my eye to wash it off. And then after I did it, my eye became very dry. My eyes became very dry, and I thought I fucked up. I thought I ruined my eyesight for life. But then I took this other medicine called sananga, and after I took it, I started feeling very dizzy again. And my eyes weren't dry anymore. So this is how powerful the mind is. And today I realized something, which I told Bruno, that the only problem that we have is that we think we have a problem. That's the only problem. So maybe in your life right now, you're wondering, why are all these things happening to you? Why you're going through hardship? Why life isn't that great? You're asking God, you're asking universe, you're asking your higher self. What I learned from ayahuasca is that the reason why we're going through these things is because we chose this path. So whatever you're going through is your path. You chose it before you came here. It just happens to be so that you forgot it, because we went through this veil of forgetfulness. We lost this part of our awareness, and that's it. And what ayahuasca told me yesterday as well is that we actually don't have any control over anything. And I know this can sound scary, but this is the truth. And then I was asking Bruno as well, like, why do we worry so much? And Bruno said, it's a good question, right? But he doesn't know. With Bruno, it's interesting, like, he doesn't share things that he doesn't know. He just shares things that he's experienced. From my perspective, worrying, once you realize that we have no control, worrying becomes pointless. There's no point to worry if we don't have any control. The only part of us that tries to worry and tries to control is the illusion, is the ego. And then another thing I realized, something very powerful, is this concept about enlightenment. So I've studied a lot of spiritual masters, spiritual teachers, and what I've gotten from them, this idea, is that enlightenment is about achieving a certain state. It's almost like going outside of yourself and becoming enlightened. It's like an escape, But I'm not realizing that this is not enlightenment, this is escapism. And the more you try to escape outside of yourself, the more you try to chase enlightenment, chase a relationship, chase a career path, chase, wanting to let go, wanting to cry, it's like quicksand. It goes through your fingers. So there's no point. Really, what enlightenment to me now is about coming back home. And Bruno said beautifully that for him, we came here to experience enlightenment. So then I was asking her was yesterday, she was giving me so many insights that I actually was very overwhelmed. I had to go to sleep. Why do we choose to experience this duality in this world? The bad things, why do we choose to experience? Like, why don't we just want to be in bliss all the time? Why don't we choose to have no problems? And there's a saying from Tony Robbins that problems are a sign of life. If you don't have any problems, you're dead. So actually, we can be grateful for our problems. So then ayahuasca told me that the reason why we want to experience these bad things is, and really there's no bad or good in this universe, we just label it as such. So if you're experiencing something bad, you're just telling yourself this is bad. It's not bad, it's your path. How can your path be bad if you've chosen it? If you're in a restaurant and you choose something, like let me eat acai or let me eat a chocolate cake, it's not bad. You chose it. So just like, for example, I got pepper sprayed in the trip that I had. It wasn't a bad thing because I chose to experience that. So why do we choose these things? I also told me that we choose to experience the bad in this world and also the good to understand it. And the reason why we want to understand is because we want to evolve as a soul. And the only way to evolve as a soul is to go through hardships. Like, how else are you going to grow if you don't go through hardships in life? If you're just in bliss all the time, of course you can get these spiritual insights when you're in bliss and it's beautiful, you're connected. But you don't get the grounding of this life experience. Like, if you just want to be in bliss, you wouldn't come here into this very dense reality. Also, what I was told me yesterday is that, in fact, again, there's no good or bad decision. You can choose, and I'm sure this can be a bit counterintuitive and, sound a bit confusing when I said that we have no control and then I'm talking about choosing. But again, that's the illusion. So when we choose, who's really choosing? It's not the ego that is choosing, it's the soul that is choosing to have this experience. So when we choose things, there's no bad choice because it's our path. It's just part of our path. And then also ayahuasca told me that we're all one. So we're all just a part of this universal energy wanting to experience itself. So Bruno always tells me we're in this together. And the reason why he says that now I realize is because we're all one, So when you talk to somebody, you're talking to a random guy, you're talking to a homeless person, really what you're doing, you're just experiencing yourself in a different way. We've just forgotten this, So what this does is it takes off the pressure, and there's so much pressure in the spiritual community to become enlightened, to achieve liberation. What does liberation even mean? Like, it's just a fucking concept, Oh, I wanna let go of all my karma. I want to achieve spiritual enlightenment so I can stay in bliss forever. First of all, we don't even know what is real, what is not. We don't know. We know only a fraction of these things. The only thing that wants to analyze these things and wants to achieve something is the mind, is the ego. So this whole enlightenment trip is an ego trip. There's no purpose to it. And like I was saying earlier, just realize all this chasing is pointless. Like I'm talking to Bruno and I'm asking like, hey, like how can I access my emotions? How can I heal? First of all, I'm already healing. And he told me what he observed from me is that I always try to project to the outside. I'm going outside of myself, whether it's, wanting to achieve enlightenment, wanting to ask others, wanting to chase my twin flame. But the more I do it, the less I'll have it. And he said that the key is to get to know yourself first. Then everything else will come. Also, I realized that when you are accessing your soul path, everything will just come to you. Everything will just come to you. Again, it doesn't mean that it's easy, but it's your path. Everything will just come to you. So yeah. If you're wondering if you should do ayahuasca, I definitely recommend it, but don't feel like one time is going to change your life. It can affect you deeply one time. But this is something that you have to master. This is an ongoing process, and it's something I'm going through now. Is I'm being initiated into becoming a shaman so I can help others using ayahuasca, using these other ancient medicines. And again, I'm not telling you here from a fucking, totem or what is it called, like this, I think this ivory tower. Oh, look at me, I've realized all these things. I haven't realized shit. I'm just on a journey just like you are, right? We're all just on this journey. All I want to share now and in the future is my life experience, what I've realized. But again, the only way you can do that is if you experience life. If you just listen to these gurus, you listen and read these books, you'll just become more stuck in this illusion, because they are stuck in the illusion. They're just teaching concept, for example, to make money. Or I'm not saying there isn't good gurus, but they are rare, Good teachers are rare. I'm grateful that I found somebody who doesn't want to give me the answers. He just wants to, and I was just the same thing. The good teachers point to where you need to go and teach you to find the answers. I also want to share something personal, is that, like the guys were joking that I'm like a Viking, and that's what I'm realizing, that the reason why I personally have had such a hard time in life and so many challenges, and again, this is obviously subjective, but just subjectively speaking, why I've had so many challenges, because I've chosen this path to evolve as a soul. Again, like I said, the only way to evolve is to go through adversity. And I realized today that I'm more powerful than I can even imagine. So when I did Hape, and Hape always makes me feel very nauseous and dizzy, just brings up all this stuff, and sometimes I vomit as well. Vomiting is, by the way, curing. It's always calm, but sometimes I was asking, and even when I did ayahuasca and when I've done ayahuasca, I've asked for help from God or from whoever, right? But really, there isn't any. There isn't that on the outside. The only person, the only thing, the only being that exists is within. And I realized that I'm there for myself. So just like you are there for you. So next time you're looking for something on the outside, again, things on the outside can help you, but really they function more as triggers. So teachers, books, videos, experiences, they function as triggers for you to realize these things, for you to realize that all the answers are within you. All the answers are within you. And I want to emphasize that I'm not saying that this will make your path easier, but at least you're out of the illusion. At least you're out of the illusion that there's something outside of yourself that's going to save you. Nobody's going to come save you. You have to save yourself. You have to do the work. That's why you're here. And really what all these things are doing, what ayahuasca is doing for me is stripping away this victim mentality, stripping away the ego, who is desperate, who is needy, who needs help. Because the truth is, I don't need help. And it's funny, nobody around me is worried about me. Even when I go through these hard things and I complain, I'm like, oh my God, why is this happening to me? Why is there a problem? Why am I so dizzy? Why am I so nauseous? Nobody's worried about me. The only person who's worried about me is myself. And the last thing I'll say is that obviously, like, I'm going through a heavy purge period right now. And it's like a part of me doesn't want to go through it. A part of me just wants to be in bliss, but we didn't come here to experience just bliss. And even Bruno was saying, like, forget the past, forget the future. Forget what has happened in the past, forget what has worked for you in the past. Because it's an illusion. What you need to do is you need to come back to your body, come back to yourself, and just surrender to the process. Because like I said earlier, we don't have any control. So all we have to do is just to enjoy and experience the ride of life that we are on. That's the only thing. Again, there's no mistakes. You think you make a mistake, it's not a mistake. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. Don't shame yourself for making mistakes. Mistakes don't exist. There's only learning lessons. Right? So I will continue to be here for indefinite period of time. I don't think about when I will stop or when I'll go home and what is home. Home is where you are. Home is your path. So I don't think about that. What I'm doing when I go wash my feet is I'm simply surrendering more and more to this journey. And that's it. That's it. So I'm gonna keep you posted on what happens, what I realize. But it's like peeling an onion, you know, layer by layer. You get closer to the truth, your truth, where you have the answers, where you have the insights, where you have the intuition. And then you're gonna share that with the world. You know, that's the whole point. And what Bruno has told me is that, look at the beautiful pyramid somewhere there where he meditates. He told me that life for him has become less and less about him. So we think, again, the ego thinks, oh my God, we're experiencing all these things for ourselves. We're not. We're experiencing these things for the entire collective, and ultimately so we can help others. Right, so I hope that this gave you something. Hope that this brought you closer to your truth. Because my truth is different than your truth, but at the same time we all have the same truth because we're all one. So with that said, if you enjoy, hit the like button, subscribe, click on the bell. As always, I love you, and I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.